Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all very much for coming along. I'm delighted to be here. My first time in Belfast. Lovely to be here, and I intend to go and have a little wander around this evening and get to know your city. Right, well, where do I start? We need a new start. This party, this country needs a new start. What a better time than post-Brexit for us to start again. And I really think that we need to jump on the movement towards plain speaking and truth that is happening. And there is a movement. You can see it in the United States. You can see it happening across Europe. Not so much in the UK because no one's offering it. It's our job. It's our job to do that. We really need to be very, very different. We really need to stand out. We need to be controversial. We need to make headlines. You may have noticed I'm making a lot of headlines just already standing here. And we need that. We need that because I've said at several hustings before that, Nigel Farage won the hearts of the people of the UK, not by his political brilliance, even though he is politically brilliant. He did it when he stood in the European Parliament and said to Van Rompuy, "Who are you? I've never heard of you." This is when he won people over. This is when they began to trust him. And when people are that outspoken and they say the kind of things that everyone wishes they could say, it's a wonderful thing. People love it when a politician says what they wish they could say. It's a release for them. It's almost as if they've said it themselves. It's a wonderful thing. This is what I'm offering as leader of UKIP. I will be that plain-speaking, controversial person which will get us attention. If we don't get attention, we won't be able to sell anything. So we will have our brilliant policies, but we need to get attention first so that people know what our brilliant policies are. I've got a few core ones, and I always say that political parties should never promise the world. We shouldn't. But we need to have a few core identifiable policies that people think about immediately when they think about UKIP. Of course, we have to talk about Brexit. We have to talk about it a lot. Now, I understand that we're not talking about it. We're in the middle of a leadership election at the moment, but I still don't think it's necessarily justifiable. The silence, relative silence from UKIP at the moment, on Brexit. Brexit is in big, big trouble. And we ought to be going after the Labour Party particularly. And I want to do that nationally. I want to go after the Labour Party because they are happy. All this stuff about staying in this single market and the customs union is just fluff. This is just, this is getting out of Brexit by the back door. And no one's really pointing this out. This Labour in their, it is essentially a reversal, a policy reversal, are saying that they want to overturn the democratic vote of the people of the UK. That's what they're saying. And we need to be telling the people of the UK this. This is the arrogance, the political arrogance. They're behaving like the European Union. And there's a reason for that. It's because they are the minions of the European Union. They think they have every right to decide what should happen, and the electorate is a problem to be overcome rather than the master that should guide them. This is the arrogance, and we need to point it out at every single opportunity. I think also we need to start talking about the nature of the EU, and especially to young people, and the fact that it was essentially designed to remove the power of the vote of the member states. It's irrelevant. We're essentially going through the motions every time we go to the ballot box, because all we're doing is finding which party or which group is going to carry out the EU's orders this time. And we really need to talk about this, and particularly with young people. And one way we're going to reach young people, and we need to, is to talk about their autonomy and their voice and the say over their future. Because if the EU isn't stopped, they will have no say over their future. We need to be very clear and very candid about these things. Another major issue I want UKIP to be identified as the party of is law and order. The justice system is a complete mess across the UK. We have politicised policing. We have police which will look at the ethnicity or the religion or the background of a perpetrator and a victim and then decide whether or not it's convenient to prosecute, or whether or not, or the Crown Prosecution Service will do the same. Whether or not it's politically convenient will be how they'll decide, make their decisions on prosecutions. An absolute obscenity to me. We are all British citizens, equal British citizens. There's no, it's not worse to beat up a black person than it is to beat up a white person. We're all the same. There will be only one equal citizen again before the law, and that law will be the one decided in Westminster, not in the Quran or anything else. The law will be the one decided in Westminster. I want to put in place a system of accountability for the Crown Prosecution Service, for example. I want them to have to explain to the public why they are not prosecuting crimes. And if they can't, they will lose their jobs. And they must lose their jobs. This is key. There's a lot of people really concerned about this stuff. And law and order is absolutely key. And plus, no other party is going to offer it, because it's politically incorrect. Believe it or not, basic bread and butter policing is politically incorrect. And so no other party is going to touch it. I also want us to talk a little bit about the NHS. The NHS is always, I've been knocking on doors for years in politics, and the NHS almost always comes up as a major concern for people. Now, I think we ought to take a very clear position on the NHS. And I think for the sake of political expediency, as well as for all of us are going to need a doctor at some point. So I think we ought to take a firm position in favour of the NHS, but with massive, massive reform. I have worked in the NHS for many years. It absolutely hemorrhages money. It hemorrhages money. The waste in it is appalling and quite frankly deeply immoral, the way money is thrown around in the NHS. We cannot keep throwing, this is every other party again, all the solution is throw money out, throw money out, throw money out. No, we need to stop. We need to stop wasting money. And we need to make NHS management accountable to the local people that they serve. So there's a message of democracy in all of this. I want to make the Crown Prosecution Service accountable. I want to make the NHS accountable. I also want to talk about the welfare state. It's, again, public money being flushed down the toilet. This is, we are funding ridiculous things. I speak to social workers all the time about the demands that people make on the public purse, and they're given it. They're given it. We need to create a society where people work for a living, where they stand on their own 2 feet. Now, we all need. It all goes wrong sometimes. For every one of us, we're at risk of things going wrong. And in that case, I think it's a moral position that we have something to help each other out when we need it. But the idea that it should become a way of life, and that is essentially what it has become, and therefore it grows and grows and grows, we have to push it back. We have to start pushing the welfare state back, and in a serious way, not just talk about it. We need to get serious. A massive thing we need to do, and a massive strain on the welfare state, is of course immigration. We are funding massive families with not a single person working from the other side of the world, and we're doing it over and over and over again. And we're not just paying for food and shelter, we're paying for, and I tell you, if social workers are telling me the truth, which I have no reason to think they're not, we're paying for luxury items for people from the other side of the world who've never contributed to the UK economy, who have essentially, and I believe this, have simply no loyalty to us either, will not integrate, will not become part of British and UK society. And I'm tired of nobody saying anything, but I'm tired of people saying, stand up for this country, demand that people show some respect for this country, and start telling it like it is. This is what I want us to do. This is obviously just some policies that I believe in, but I believe those core policies will reach people if they are sold correctly, talking about clearly, concisely, consistently, and if it's presented by someone the public think they can trust. I believe I can win the trust of the public across the UK, and I believe I can win it because I'm straightforward, I mean what I'm saying, I'm genuine, and I'm passionate. And I hope that you can see that in me. And thank you for listening to me. Understandably, the candidates in this race are all very alike. we're all very similar politics. We're all members of the same party. So it's difficult, actually, to distinguish what it is that will make you make your choice. I have got to tell you that in the next 20 years, anyone who has the guts to talk about Islam at this point will succeed. There is an enormous abandoned section of this country. Polls tell us it's around half. 47% of the British public, according to one poll, wants no more immigration from Muslim societies. The same figure believes that Islam is incompatible with British society. Now, I can guarantee you, with the greatest of respect to everyone else on this ballot paper, I know I am the only one who is going to confront this. You can see I have no fear. I have no fear of this. I've already, David talked about getting attention. Of course we need attention. But I'm sorry, just denouncing political correctness is not going to do it. You must have guts, and they must trust you. They must trust you. I have already... the media coverage I've received since I started this has been incredible. It's already happening. I'm already getting people excited. I'm already getting people interested. There was an article in UKIP Daily the other day which said I should win because I have the largest support outside the party of any of the candidates. This is common sense. This is common sense. Learn from the fact that 1,000 people joined the party for the 2 weeks that followed my announcement that I was standing. That's £30,000, by the way, into the coffers in membership. We have to learn from this. We have to learn from this. The public is interested in this, and it isn't. I have all the other policies and all similar to all the other candidates, but this is what makes me stand out. It's what will continue to make me stand out. And I can tell you, thousands of people are coming into Europe every single day, wishing to transform it. We will become a prison society, but with security and fear and terror over the next couple of decades. Now, it's going to take real courage to stand up and face this massive elephant that is stamping all over our freedoms, and it will irreversibly alter European and British society if we don't stand up now. But it's going to take guts. None of this, we don't want to alienate or cause offence. This is exactly what the people are sick of. They're sick of hearing it. They're sick of politicians prioritising moderate Muslims. What about the non-Muslim majority who wants to talk about this and wants to criticise it? That is my unique selling point. I will drive this agenda forward. I will excite the public. I will interest them, and I will make UKIP grow. And our image on the stage will be the fearless, radical party that we ought to be. Thank you.